Hello everyone and welcome to the first episode of the Crafty Connoisseur podcast. With me today is Graham Blaikie, who is owner-operator of the Mercat Grill and also National President of the SLTA. Graham, thanks very much for being our first guest. Tell us a little bit about yourself, your background.
Thank you for
Keep it
having
clean.
me. Yes, I will do. Thanks for having me, Steve. It's obviously nice to be the first person on the show. It can only get better from this point going out. Yes, Graham Blaikie, the proprietor here at the Mercat Grill, the world famous Mercat, which is based in Whitecraig, just outside Musselburgh and East Lothian. Been here for over 12 years as of the 1st of March next year. It's been a bit of a rough, interesting ride, but we're still there, we're going forward. And as you said, I'm the current National President for the Scottish Licensed Trade. Now, just in case anything drops out here, it's my opinion, it's what I think, not what the Scottish Licensed Trade or any of our members seem to say. So if I start blabbering on about my thoughts on certain things, it's what I'm thinking rather than names. So.
Everybody's entitled to their personal opinion.
Yes.
So, let me just get a feeling. As an operator and the president of the SLTA, where do you find time to relax and enjoy your spirits? And what spirits do you enjoy the most?
That's great. I mean, obviously, my number one spirit here at the Mercat is clearly whiskey. We've got over 350 whiskies. In my secret lair, I have over 350 whiskies as well. I find that it's a good investment rather than putting your pennies in the bank, so that's my number one choice is whiskey. When I do drink the whiskey, I have to say I'm not a big whiskey drinker. I like to try various types of whiskey to give me knowledge. I've got a friend who is heavily involved in the whiskey trade, and you ask him what his favourite whiskey is, and he comes back, he says, I'm more a sipper and a trier, but he just reached out and bought 2 bottles of the Japanese whiskey from Tomatin Distillery just outside Aviemore for £16,500 each.
Ooh.
Yes, but he has his own shop, so he's got there's a bit more to it than that. But yeah, no, I like trying whiskey. I would like going to the whiskey shows. London, the one in October is always probably the best. Great value for money. It seems it's expensive when you pay to go in. It's £100, but you get lunch, you get your glasses, and then whiskies that are there for you to try are absolutely incredible.
And what's your thoughts about how in the past whiskey was perceived to be like an old man's drink, and what you can mix with it and what you don't put in it and things like that? Do you see that there's a change going to a younger clientele these days that are happy to have it in a cocktail or happy to have it with something else?
I think you look at the way the big companies are pushing it forward, and as long as you're drinking whiskey, we look at the Diageo experience up in Princess Street there, and the first thing they're doing is giving you a long drink, like a cocktail, and this is just to be the broad spectrum. For myself, depending where you are in the country, London has a much younger market than ourselves. But as you say, the way it's changed, it used to be the man at the bar would get a nip and a half pint and that was it. And these days have certainly gone, and as we know, the broad spectrum of whiskies that are available is massive. I mean, what is it, about 150 or 160 distilleries now, and each distillery, easy, I mean certainly the older ones, 10, 12, 15 different varieties of bottles on the go. So it just shows you the amount that's out there. But I mean, it's always say to people, as long as you drink it the way you want to drink it, as long as you're enjoying it.
Exactly. I mean, the question we get all the time is, what's the perfect serve? And what we tell people is, it depends. It's the drink that you enjoy, because everybody's taste buds are different, so their drink experience will be different. Some might like something with lemonade, some might like it neat, some might like ginger or things like that. So the perfect serve, in our opinion, is a recommendation, but not everybody's going to like it. What sort of new trends, as an operator and your face on with customers, What sort of new trends do you see developing? What's the new spirit that people are asking about?
There's the selection now everybody's got in their bars is incredible, between your rum, your tequilas, your whiskies, your gins, your vodka. There's a big broad spectrum. Here at the Mercat, we're a big food operator, so we tend not to have too many folk coming in and drinking. Obviously everybody's mentioned the rum, but for my forward thinking is tequila's going to be the next wave of evolution. So we'll see how that pans out, but some of the tequilas, as you well know, are very soft and smooth, and it's not like the tequila that you drank when you were a youngster at the party. So I could see that developing, but one thing that I will say is the obviously the youngster generation is actually consuming less alcohol than what they did before.
Yeah.
And 0% alcohol and low alcohol drinks are really starting to come to the forefront. You can see the investment that people like Diageo have been putting into this. They brought out Gordon's non-alcoholic gin, and that's absolutely a massive seller. Now you're getting people that are actually opening shops that are dealing with low alcohol products. There's one opening up in Covent Garden, and I was speaking to one of the managers was at way down south, and he was saying that their shop should be open very soon, and all they're going to be doing is low alcohol and zero alcohol drinks. But what did confuse me was they were going to sell a gin that was 50% ABV. However, what the catch to this is they give you a little thimble, and you fill the thimble up, and then you pour it in to make your gin and tonic, so it's not got as much alcohol in it.
Right.
But because the flavouring is so intense, it makes you think you're getting the real one.
We have come across something like that before. I think it was Anno was one of the strongest gins that was made, but they were only doing it in 20 centilitre bottles.
Right.
Obviously there's a drink responsibly, I mean, at that level. But it's interesting you mentioned about tequila there, because what we're seeing and what we do when we're doing private tastings is we try and educate people on the sense of how to enjoy the drink more. And as you alluded to, we've all been there. It's the end of the night, someone comes back with a tray of tequila shots and the slammers are going, and that's it, we've all had a bad experience, and we go fighting with lampposts or things like that. But what we keep telling people is drink the tequila like you would drink a whiskey. Enjoy it, savour it. And the amount of people that suddenly go from not liking tequila to realising there's a better way to enjoy it is really, really on the rise as well. And again, as you mentioned there about the zero alcohol, I've always been sceptical of non-alcoholic drinks and their pricing and things like that. But I can also see being the one at the party where you're the designated driver. You can only drink so much fresh orange lemonade or so much Diet Coke and things like that. My own preference is Beck's Blue. The only thing I would say to Beck's is try and make the bottles a bit more different rather than just a blue label, because sometimes you get handed the wrong bottle if there's other Beck's there. But you still get the taste and the flavour in the normal beer, but obviously you're not getting the alcohol content. And I don't think anybody would agree that we drink alcohol just to get drunk. We drink it for the attributes that are there, the botanicals, the flavourings, the hops, yeast, whether it's beer or vodka, gin or whatever. Do you stock any zero alcohol products?
Yeah, I've got a couple of different alcoholic-free beers, and I've also got an alcohol-free cider. I also have the alcohol-free gin, so there's a few. I've had people asking for the alcohol-free wine, but I think we'll watch how that unfolds, because it's still, I don't think you get it alcohol-free, you'll get it more low alcohol, which is slightly better flavouring that it does, rather than sort of the non-alcohol. You always go back to when you're a youngster and you get the bottle of Slor at Christmas. I could have just given customers the Slor. But it's funny you were talking about the tequila. I get the same in here when people will say, oh, I don't like that drink, or I don't like this drink or that, and then you say, well, when did you have it? Oh, I was a youngster, or they had a bad experience because they had the worst wine in the world. Oh, I don't like red wine. Or how did you have it? Oh, well, it was a bottle of what out of the back of the cupboard. So
I think that's the thing for us. It's all about the experience, and I think that's why gin took off as much as it did. It wasn't so much about, there was an element of they've brought gin back differently with the botanicals and given an alternative to the supermarket shelf gins that were there. But it's the experience of, we always recommend try it neat first, because people that says, you say, oh I don't like gin and tonic, and they've never tried it neat, and they find out it's the tonic that they don't like. then find a mix that goes with it, whether it's tonic, whether it's ginger beer, whether it's even cola. I mean, we don't judge. Cola gives a bit of sweetness. All we say is don't drown your drink, and then your garnish. It's that experience that people are enjoying more, and during lockdown they enjoyed it even more because they were creating their own bars and their own experiences there. But it's good. I mean, certainly the selection that you've got of the whiskies and everything here, and even your gins, there's something for everybody. There's a variety that's there. Where do you see, I mean, we've talked about tequila being next. Do you see, for example, a recurrence of flavoured vodka coming back?
For myself, obviously, because I'm not sort of a cocktail bar, I couldn't really say for certain. We did talk about the tequila there, and I've got a great range. We went through the fad where obviously the gins are coming thick and fast. It's at the point where there's a new gin nearly every day, and there's only so many gins that you can you can put into your stock. But going forward for myself, we've talked about the tequila. I think low alcohol drinks are going to be the next thing on the horizon, and we'll see a big step up in these over the next couple of years. Obviously, we've got so many problems ahead of us in the trade with the gas, electricity, and a lot of things going up. My concern is it potentially drives people back into the household. And I'm not going to, again, this is my preference, or my thought process. I unfortunately think the supermarkets are going to be benefiting from this. We all know that they use it as a loss leader, which the side effect of that is people don't actually understand the real price of a drink. You'll get it yourself. When they can buy a bottle of spirit now for $14.95 or whatever. Way back it was always you could get 3 bottles for £10. I couldn't even buy, some of my wines are £10 a bottle.
I think that's the thing. The supermarkets, as much as we all use them and like them at certain times, there's certain aspects of it that can be detrimental to all businesses. We've went into supermarkets and saw brands that we have worked with in the past and look at the prices coming out and think, what are they getting that for to be able to sell it at that price? So they're either making a loss, or even worse, the distillers having to take a bigger hit. I mean, I've worked with supermarkets in the past in a different industry, and they're very, very straight down the middle of this is what happens or it doesn't happen. Even to the point of saying you need to change your bottle or your packaging because it doesn't fit our shelves. And they can be ruthless at times as well. I mean, if, at the end of the day, if a product's not selling for whatever reason, it gets dropped, and that can be a big commitment for distillers, for breweries, and things like that. So our hope is that it doesn't drive people back to supermarkets, that people will come to the local bars, support them, try and come and enjoy the different experiences. I know from personal experience you have various tastings that you put on which are great. The food at the Mercat is excellent, and the drink goes well with the food as well. One thing I have to ask, and I've seen it before and I'm curious about it, what are the haggis cigars?
Oh, haggis cigars are a very special product. We've been doing them since 2006. We actually started doing them when I had the Mercat up in Haymarket. I was sick, fed up of people having haggis bonbons and haggis fritters, so we wanted a much healthier option, and we ended up, Claire, the head chef, she debates that it was her that came up with it, and I debate that it was me that came up with the idea. However, collectively we've developed the product over the year. So it's some locally sourced haggis from a couple of different suppliers, and we'll add our own little ingredients into it, and then it's wrapped in the pastry. They take about 2.5 to 3 days to actually prepare. So it's one of these products that it might seem quite simple, but actually it's not. And of course, other people have tried to replicate them, and some people try and do them in the house, but they're nowhere near as good as what they are, and we know that. So there's a lot of growth, excitement as well. Next year we're looking to do a lot of the Highland Games with the haggis cigars. We're going to go out there. We've been doing some farmers markets with them, which has been helping the sort of the brand awareness. But next year's going to be the big evolution for us. We're excited. Some of the big shows coming up.
Excellent. So, coming to an end here, what is up and coming for the Mercat over December, January? What have you got planned? Any special events? Anything that?
Yes. We've got Santa Claus is coming on the 25th of December. So he'll be here then. Prior to that, we have the Santa Paws which is the Santa Paws, which is the doggy charity event, which is one of the biggest days in our calendar. We get about 70, 80 dogs coming through the door. They're all well behaved, they're better behaved than the children. So we have that. We're still shut on a Tuesday throughout the month of December just because of lack of staff, but I am open on the 27th. The reason being is we're shut on the 26th, which is Boxing Day. Then January we're shut for 3 weeks. We're shut from the 3rd to the 25th. The plan is to reconfigure the kitchen in a way that we can do deliveries and takeaways.
Right.
As obviously business pressures are built up and finances are constrained, we need to look at bringing in some more cash. So this is going to be our battle plan. So we open back up on the 25th of January, and then that weekend we have a nice tasting with Coleman.
Oh, yes.
Welcome to come along and enjoy it. So Coleman Whisky Distillery are coming in, and we're tying it in with wee mini burns. So it's not a full-blown Burns experience. We'll probably do the Jace the Haggis, have a piper and some poems or whatever, and a good few drams, I'm sure.
Excellent. So, thank you very much, Graham. Again, thank you for being the first person, the first victim of our podcasts. We'll hear more from Graham as time comes, because I think we'll do some deep dives into some of the whiskies that he's got, and get some first-hand experience there. As said, it's based down at Whitecraig. Excellent for meals, excellent just to pop down and have a drink. Sports facilities here to watch your football, and not just British football, American football as well. And Graham does some cracking events for American football. So check him out on Facebook. Remember, it's Mercat Grill down in Whitecraig. Fun for all the family, great food, and very dog friendly. Graham, thank you very much.
Right, Steve, thank you.
Cheers,
Best of
folks.
luck.
See you next time.